Hi, this is Kathi Quinn with Floriani. Floriani is a division of R&K Distributing, and I want to welcome you to this week's Project of the Week. Well, I'm going to do just a little bit of review because I've had some of the same questions over and over, and it will be review, but it's been a while, so it may be fresh to everybody. And sometimes when we take a fresh look at something, we learn something new. Now, I need to bring in a design. Now, there's more than one way we can bring in a design. We could go to File, Open, which means we need to know where that design is and the name of it to get it, which is good. Sometimes we do. My favorite way is to go to my library, select the folder my design's in. In this case, I'm going to go to Free Monthly Designs, and I'm going to go to January of 2018. Then we go ahead and we are on our design tab, and now I can left mouse click and I can drag and bring in a design. Now sometimes this is a little frustrating because we get a little happy when we drag. If you don't drop it onto the screen, if you get it over on the edges somewhere because you just drug fast, it'll look like it didn't come because it didn't, because you didn't drop it in the right place. So make sure you drop the design in the center. Now when designs come in, they come in grouped, which means, and they come in grouped when you bring them in from the library. Now, if you say File Open, they do not come in grouped. So that means if I click on any piece of this design, I am going to select the whole design. So if I wanted to work with a certain piece of it, I've got a couple of options. I could select it here in the selection box. Now I want to take out the lettering, so I'm going to delete, and now I'm left with just the heart. Now if we look over here, I have an outline and I have a fill. Now I can leave these grouped and still work with specific pieces if I need to. Like I can grab just the outline, and I could say, well, I want to change that to a steel stitch because I selected it in the sequence view. Now, if I tried to click on it over here, that wouldn't work because it would select the whole design. But I can still work with the sequences. Now, I'm going to undo as my friend because I like the outline it has. Now, I'm going to select all items. I'm going to come up and we're going to look at our corner tool. I was asked, what are these tools? Now I'm going to left mouse click. This is Corner Repeat. And by having this, I've taken a simple design. I've already manipulated it some. I've gotten rid of the lettering. I've going to come in here and I'm going to change some of this distance here so it's not touching each other. And then I can come and play with the angle. I can play with it. Now, I'm going to show you an important one. Let me get this where I like it. Now, see, I like that. I think it's a cute corner angle. I could put this in the middle of a pocket, on the back of a jacket, in the middle of a cloth. I mean, it's a cute little design. Now, right here, it says auto resequence by color. That is important because you notice there's two different colors. If I take this off and I apply it, and say OK, I'm going to have, it's going to do one color, the next color, one color, the next color. You see how that would be a real pain unless you're running a multi-needle, and then there'd still be no reason. So I'm going to undo, and we're going to again select all items. Let's go to our corner repeat. Let's do the same thing. Repetition is good. I'm coming this, ooh, like these. There's just so much we can do here. Now, we're going to make sure, and this selects itself automatically. You have to deselect it to have it not work. Now I'm going to apply, and now I'm going to say OK. Now I want you to notice, it's all one color and all the other color. So it would stitch out the fill first and then put in the outline. And that way you don't have a problem with this giving you a hard time. Now, if your machine notices sequences, it is going to stop in between. So I would grab all of these colors. I'm going to click on the top one. I'm going to hold my shift key and select to the bottom. So that gets me all four of our light color here, a light lilac. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine them. No, I'm not. I'm not going to combine. I'm going to undo that. I take that back. There we go. Let's undo that combine. Let's see what we've got. There we go. Well, I went crazy, didn't I? Good thing is we can always redo. Now we have got those as one color. Now it stitches, but it's one sequence. Notice before we had several under it. Now this is one color and it's sequenced under it. So it's going to stitch all the pink, then it's going to stitch all the outlines. And I like how that is done. That is a nice thing with the corner tool. Now let's come and look at one more tool. Now this time I think I'm going to come in to my symbols. Now symbols are fun. You can come down here and we've got lots of symbols to play with. Now if you've got a symbol that is not blue, it's one you've added in, because we can add symbols in here too. We don't have to just use what was put in. But I'm going to grab the flag and I'm going to click on screen. Now if I just left mouse click, it's going to be the size the flag was made. Now if I hold down my left mouse key and drag, I can not only bring my flag in, but I can rotate and resize at the same time. So that's kind of fun. Let's remove, remove, and remove. Let's be left with one. Now I'm going to select this flag, and this time I'm going to come into my Fling Repeat. Now notice it's resized and it flings them around the screen. And this is fun if you're doing a piece of fabric or you're wanting a different look on the front of something. You can fling around, and you also have the ability to say, I don't want it any higher than this, I don't want it any wider than. Now this is the entire design. Let's look at this first. Right now this is the size that we've said we're going to use. This will fit. And if you've got to look at your hoop you're going to use and everything, so you can tell it how wide and how high that this eventually will end up. So you can kind of contain it. Then you can say it can go 10% smaller. It can scale. However you need to scale this, you can do that. So you can turn around and scale your designs. And then you can auto rotate. You can color sort. So I can apply this different ways until I like what I've got. Then I can say OK, and then that will generate on the screen. So then you've got your Fling Repeat. Now it's taking a while. I've got a lot. So now that has all generated. But notice it's going to stitch out one color, the next color, the next color. So it went ahead and auto resequenced all the colors for you. So now I've shown you two new tools. Showed you just a little bit of manipulation. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and I look forward to seeing you next week.